Please rise for a pledge of allegiance.
In those cases.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If we could all please remain standing. We know about the 2 plane crashes down in D.C. and down in Pennsylvania, and definitely my heart goes out to those families affected. I know that each and every one of us has suffered some form of loss, so if we can just keep those families in our thoughts and prayers, and join me for this moment of silence. Thank you. Please be seated. All right, should have done this earlier. I'm calling to order the Londonderry Town Council meeting. Today is Monday, February 3rd, 2025. It is 7:01 p.m. Before I get into public comment, actually, I'll open up public comment, but I'd like to start out first. I received an email, we had someone comment last 2 weeks ago about inputting people who write in to the council into their emails into the minutes. And I'm just going to read my response to that individual because I was wrong. So I said, thank you for your thoughtful follow-up questions. I truly appreciate it. That's not the right one. Give me a minute. I'll get there. My apologies. I had it ready, but it went away. Getting there. This is painfully awkward for me right now.
I can sing.
I mean, if you want to.
I can get you a hat so that you can stand out there and collect money.
All right, here we go. I want to take a thank you, gentlemen. I want to take a moment and thank you for your comments at last night's town council meeting. After taking some time to process, I want to acknowledge that you are absolutely correct. We have not allowed emails or letters to be entered into the record in the past, and it was my decision to make an exception to this instance, was out of our regular process and should not have been allowed. That is entirely my fault, and I'm solely talking to myself about myself, and I sincerely apologize for the oversight. Moving forward, I will ensure that we adhere strictly to established process and to maintain consistency and fairness. Thank you again for bringing this to my attention. So I'm not above reproach. I appreciate the feedback from the community and just wanted to set that straight. Regardless of the position, I shouldn't have allowed it, so thank you for your understanding. With that, I know I opened up public comment. I know Chief Ken Bernard has some amazing individuals he'd like to introduce.
Before I begin that, I would just like to take a moment and thank you all, town council members and town leadership. Last Thursday evening, we had a member of our police department on patrol assisting a motorist, and he was struck by a vehicle. I will tell you that it does not surprise me, to say the least. The strength in numbers that this community reaches out for its employees is unbelievable. Officer John Galvin was helping a motorist and got hit by a car at approximately 30 miles an hour. John is a true soldier. He is a phenomenal young police officer for your town. And he was transported to the local hospital and released an hour and a half later with very little injury, as crazy as that may be. That man is back to work yesterday. So good news, great, I guess you could call it a blessing. Could have been a lot worse today, coming up here talking about that. So all is well. The police department, we reached out to the young driver who hit Officer Galvin to check in on her. As you can imagine, extremely shaken up, but she's going to be okay too. So that's it. So now for some good stuff.
Chief, is Officer Galvin a Marine?
You gotta be careful how I answer this, but sir, yes, sir.
Thank you. Just wanted to make sure we're...
Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
Sure is.
Thank you. Please continue.
So, thank you for the opportunity. If I could have you four please come up front here next to me. I'll try to go through this as quickly as I can because I know these town council meetings have a tendency to go late. So we'll try to get through them as fast as I can. First and foremost, we have attorney prosecutor Alyssa Keene. Alyssa is filling the vacancy from Chelsea Pandy, who left us, as I had mentioned to you back in November, to take a closer opportunity in the town in which she resides in. So Alyssa comes to us with 10 years of experience as an attorney. She started her professional career as a prosecutor with New Hampshire State Police, the City of Concord Police Department, the City of Nashua Police Department, and now she's at the best employer she's had to date, will be the Londonderry Police Department. She was appointed as a circuit court prosecutor rep to the commission, the Governor's Commission on Domestic Violence, Sex Assault, and Stalking. Alyssa is going to be an added value to our agency, more than we can express up here today. With the amount of experience that she has in these areas of focus and expertise, as we have said to you guys many times, we have a young police department. We have a young prosecution team. With her experience, this is going to help shape us for the future. So, Alyssa Keene. The next new hire we have is Brian Roach. I'll step off to the side so you can see Brian. Brian has been a police officer since 2015, full-time certified from the town of Hooksett. Brian has come to us as a firearms instructor, a field training instructor, and he comes to us as well with a lot of experience. Finding a 10-year certified police officer is no easy task. Police officers today, as I have said to you guys many times in the past, they have their pick of the litter. They can go anywhere. He chose to come here. We interviewed Brian, and Brian's recommendations were through the charts. Brian's former chief was in a meeting with me about 2 months ago in our police department, and he said, we got a good one. Usually the chiefs tell me, you took another one of my guys, and I hear a couple small little follow-up words. So it's good to hear that we did pick a good one. So you folks will see Brian out and about, and he will be another added member to the police department. I know I speak about this all the time. This speaks volumes of our ability to recruit without going crazy, without signing bonuses, the best, because the town council supports the police department. You support us by good contracts. You support us by support. You support us like you did on Thursday night when Officer Galvin was hit by a car. It's not that way everywhere, but it is here. So I thank you for that. I'd also like to make 2 promotion announcements. First off is Sergeant Ryan Bucher has been promoted to the rank of lieutenant. Ryan is going to be, I'll back up. Ryan's been a police officer since 2008 for the town of Goffstown. We hired him with experience as an FTO. He came to here in 2013 as an FTO, a detective, drug recognition expert, which we call the DRE, and he's been one of our TAR, Traffic Accident Reconstruction Supervisors, maintaining that unit. Lieutenant Bucher is now going to be in charge of professional standards in the Division of Legal Bureau and helping oversee the accreditation process for the police department through CALEA. Last but not least is Captain Alvin Betancourt. Alvin has been with us since 2007. Alvin was one of the originals, I believe, hired for the airport, if I'm not mistaken. One of the originals.
Yeah,
Second group. Alvin has served in just about every capacity possible for the police department. Alvin is filling out the role that was left vacant for almost a year or thereabouts when we promoted Jason Breen to Deputy Chief of Operations or Deputy Chief of Police, however you want to call it. So Alvin will oversee the Operations Division, which is all of patrol, the Detective Bureau, SROs, etc. So I just want to point out that, yet again, our succession plan is locked down. It's in place. The future of our organization is bright. It is steady as she goes. So I would like you guys, if you don't mind, real quick, to go up here and introduce yourself right to left, please.
Thank you.
Chad, nice to meet you. Welcome.
Tom.
Welcome. Chad, nice to meet you. Welcome aboard.
Hi, Tom.
Very proud. Congrats. Very proud.
All right, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Folks have any questions?
Nope.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Congratulations and welcome aboard, and definitely for safety over all of you, so thank you. Folks, this is your public comment. Please come and join us if you wish. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Richard Belinsky, 89 Hall Road. So I see tonight on the new business, we're going to be talking about another TIF district, which I disagree with, but that's for another time and place. So here's my problem with this. 2 weeks ago, because elections were coming up, you couldn't do a simple thing like pick a new library trustee, and you left them in a lurch where they are 6 where they're supposed to have an odd number. That was a real simple thing to do. So why does this look like it's it's looking like it's going to be ramrodded through before the elections? Why don't we put this off until there's a new board? You know there's going to be at least one new person, if not 2. You can't pick a library trustee. What are you doing this for? Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Unless there's some special project that this is being rammed through and we don't know what it is yet. Simple trustee pick, can't do it. Major, cutting the taxes, and we're going to try to get it through. Doesn't look right.
Thank you. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Daniel Bouchard, 8 O'Connell Drive. I just want to say that our Public Works Department is phenomenal with these storms that we've had lately. I do plowing as well, and I have a business, and it's nice when you get 8 inches and be done with it. But these guys, it's been just dragging on and on and on. And they're out there and doing a great job because I'm out there with them as well. I also want to say thank you to our other 2 departments that do a great job. Our fire department, they've been out there constantly in these storms as well, and as well as our our police department. So I just want to say thank you to our employees for that, and I want to thank Kim Bernard for trying to fill in those vacant slots. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Good evening.
Good evening. Just give me a second. Not built for short people again. My name is Maura Ryan. I live at 2 Snowberry Hollow in Londonderry. I am the author of Citizens Petition 34, which you deemed illegal at your last meeting, and I disagree with that assessment. And the reason why is because 7616-C gives the power to abate taxes to the selectmen. On top of that, all the laws that you had cited, including 7235 and 7235-A, are not relevant in this matter because those are things that towns may do. So they're optional. You don't have to do them. And 7235-A requires an SAH grant. New Hampshire is the only state that requires an SAH grant, and I don't know why they require an SAH grant. That's a federal grant given to people who need to have their homes redone, but there are only so many per the whole entire country. So if they have 50 and 10 go to California, New Hampshire might get 0. So there may be no one eligible. They may be eligible for an SAH grant, but they're not going to get one because one isn't coming here. At the highest, a 100% disabled veteran is going to make approximately $45,600. You have people on social media who are claiming that the living wage is $136,000. That's well below that. And so I think that disabled veterans, 100% disabled veterans, do deserve a break on their taxes because they went out and fought the fight so that your brothers and sisters and your kids don't have to. And that's fine, but they deserve some level of recognition for that. In addition to that, the New Hampshire Municipal Association, which you guys pay a lot of money to, wrote on petitions that are deemed illegal that inclusion of those petitions on the warrant is a right under RSA 39-3, and that since there's a penalty attached to it under 39:3-B, it's recommended that the article should be placed on the warrant anyway. I also hear a lot about buying pizza and coffee and how it's not that much. So the next time y'all feel like you want to get pizza or coffee or you want to skip it, and you can certainly donate money to the town. I'm sure they take cash, credit card, and cover someone else's stuff because it's worth it to you. And if you're making $136,000, you're in the upper 30%. Most of us are not. So I would like an answer on this today because I'd like to know what the thought is, but I don't believe that petition is illegal. I copied the language from other towns who have passed the same warrant article, and it was the language used on the New Hampshire Municipal Association website, which you guys pay a lot of money to follow their advice.
So real quick, Maura, we are not authorized to not move something forward on the warrant. If it's a citizen's petition, we shall abide by that, and it will be on the warrant. Regarding the legality, I'm not an attorney. I'm pretty sure that our town attorney did review it, and based on their findings, their legal analysis, that was why it was deemed that. I didn't speak to the attorney personally regarding that, but I think if there's conversations that's brought up, and again, this is going to go on the ballot because it is a citizen's petition because we shall abide by that law. It will be on the ballot.
Well, at present, there are 71 households that qualify for that. If someone were to amend it and make it $5,000, I think I would be amenable to that. Like, I'd support that. But that would cost the town $71,000, which is a drop in the bucket of overall. And you had several veterans come up here and tell you that they're being forced out of their homes, which I don't think is appropriate. And a lot of times veterans get overlooked in favor of other groups because they don't come out and speak up all the time. And since you did have a couple of them 4 meetings ago, I do think that you should honor that.
Right.
Some gave all and all gave some.
I agree. And being a veteran myself and a retired disabled Marine, I completely understand where you're coming from, and I appreciate, advocating for our brothers and sisters in arms because you're right. Some gave all gave some. Me personally, 1 of 5. I'm not talking on behalf of the council. I'm talking for me. I know that we are authorized up to the max amount for, that the state allows us for the veteran tax credit and such.
But it doesn't stop you from going over under the auspices of local control. And you have that ability under 7616, and that's why the state has to make it so that the town passes it, because you have that power under 7616-C.
So during deliberative, our town attorney will be present, and I'm pretty confident that the town attorney will opine with legal advice regarding that.
Well, it depends on what you tell the town attorney, too, because I've seen many times where only certain information is given to an attorney, so they come up with an opinion. But this is coming directly from the New Hampshire Municipal Association. As I stated, you guys pay a lot of money for this stuff, and as I said, there are other towns that have already gone beyond that. And I think that's only fair because inflation has gone up astronomically since the last time there was an increase, which was several years ago. In some towns, there hasn't been an increase since the Civil War. Fortunately, we're not one of those. But it isn't fair to say, you're making the least and you have to deal with all the inflation and choosing between food and other things. I just don't find that appropriate.
Yeah.
And I'll stand by that and I'll fight for that because I don't think people should come up here and have to beg to stay in their house.
I don't think you're begging. All right. And I appreciate your advocacy for our veterans, for those that gave a lot. And I appreciate that. And like I said, we have a process. We have a law. We're going to follow that. It is going to be on the ballot, and it's going to be, there's an opportunity. So next month, the 11th, I'm sorry, this month on the 8th, this Saturday, we have deliberative. Being the petitioner, I'd recommend coming because I will ask.
Well, I'm going to be there.
Petitioner
but I do think that when it comes from you guys, when you repeat something that may not be true, and the law supports that if you say something that's not valid, that 39-3-C penalty would apply. Because you can't say something that's not clear. And since I've just given you laws that contradict, it's not clear.
And we'll look into that. Thank you. Is there anyone else? Seeing none, I'll close public comment. All right, new business. Order 2025-02, an expenditure of the Emergency Maintenance Trust Fund, winter maintenance. We have our amazing director of DPW present. That was out hammering the roads. Mr. Dave Wally, good evening, sir.
We can strike amazing from the notes, please.
Tolerable. Tolerable?
Sure, thank you. Yeah, if you don't mind, I'll roll out some statistics on where we're at, being what I consider to be a little bit halfway over the winter season. And thank you, Mr. Bouchard, for pointing out all the hard work of Team DPW. The guys have been doing a stellar job and working a lot of hours, obviously, especially as of late. In comparison, a lot of people, view winter as the accumulation amounts and what we get, and obviously we are down in that regard. However, just for comparison, by last year, it was a below average winter with 43 inches of snow, which started in November. We had an operation, and the last was in April, believe it or not, with an 8-inch snowstorm, which actually put us into the 43-inch accumulation amount for the year. And that was 14 weather events that we had to contend with last year. This year, where we actually began the season in November as well, with some black ice and whatnot at the end of November. And to this date, obviously in early February, we have had 14 events. So while we are kind of below or behind where we normally should be with accumulation of snow, and I'm hoping more will come now, let's get it on the ground in February and maybe early March, but certainly don't want to be doing it in April. But it's been a busy season, and we find ourselves, what I've noticed from fighting snow for 30 years now, there is a difference in our weather events now. They're more prolonged. They start as rain. There's some mix and different types of precipitation. It just doesn't come down as snow, like 8 inches, like Ron was saying, and push it off. But that's where we are. And salt is expensive, and we seem to be finding ourselves using it more these days. There's really no other way to deal with ice than with salt. And we're about halfway through our salt budget right now. So we're looking good still in that regard because we're in the home stretch. But this order in front of you is for the monies that we use in order to maintain all of our town facilities that is contracted out. So I received a couple of bills today, so I will actually be exhausting the first order that I requested for $17,000 at the beginning of the season. And so this is to continue that effort with the additional $17,000. Now, if I exhaust that, then I'll be back in front of you for a third round. Otherwise, this money will expire at the end of the calendar year, fiscal year, and go back to the Expendable Maintenance Trust Fund. Like it did last year, we didn't even quite exhaust both requests. Years previous, we had gone to 3, but so we'll see where we end at the end of this year.
All right. If there's any questions from the council, I'll accept the motion to approve Order 225-02.
So moved. Second.
Motion, do you have a question?
No.
Sean? All right. Motion from Ted, second from Ron. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative. Thank you, Mr. Wally.
Thank you.
Resolution 225-02. So, real quick, Kelly, can you explain the process on first readings, public hearing, and how we go about, adopting resolutions, please? Not to put you on the spot, but.
Sure. So with any resolution, the council has a first reading followed by a public hearing. So given you have a resolution before you this evening, you have the option to go through a first reading or waive it. And then the hearing for this particular resolution is planned for March 3rd. So that is a public hearing, full public hearing process that we typically follow.
And typically, there's a presentation and there's public comment during that time, being a public hearing.
Correct. It's a public hearing, and we will have myself and anyone else needed for the TIF district discussion available to present and answer questions through the public hearing process.
Perfect. Any questions from the council? With that, I'll accept the motion to waive first reading for Resolution 2025-02.
So moved.
Second from, a motion from Ted, second from Ron. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative. First reading is waived. Any old business? All right, so about 5 minutes. I know we have a candidate that is for the planning board.
Why don't we do our minutes, our liaison reports, and all that stuff while we're waiting?
Good idea. So I'll accept the motion to approve January 20th, 2025 council minutes.
So moved.
Second.
A motion from Sean, second from Ted. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative. Minutes are approved. Liaison reports.
I have one today.
Great.
Beautify Londonderry had a meeting, and we were just getting ready to do the fundraising for the $10,000 for the signs. And we went out and looked at the old signs that came out around 2005. And we just wanted to see if any of the old sponsors would be interested in sponsoring the revision of the sign and paying for some of the refurbishing of the signs. So the current signs, the one at Wendy's is sponsored by Rotary Club and Prudential Realty. The one on Rockingham Road is sponsored by Prudential Realty. Mammoth Road is Apple Tree Business Solutions and Londonderry Wildcats. The one near the flea market is Apple Tree Business Solutions. And the other one on Mammoth Road is sponsored by the Rotary Club and Londonderry Wildcats. So if any of the old sponsors would like to sponsor again, contact myself or anyone on Beautify Londonderry. We'd be happy to have you guys sponsor the signs again. And anyone else that would like to contribute, please contact one of us.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Any other liaison reports?
Yeah, so I was at the airport for the JetBlue inaugural flights. It was quite the event. The CEO of JetBlue was there. The governor was there. A number of state representatives. There was representatives from the congressional offices as well. It was Ted Kitchens did a real nice job introducing everybody, running a great program. They were offering for 48 hours $59 flights to Florida, so anyone who was there heard about that. WMUR was there, so they're going to Fort Myers, Fort Lauderdale, and Orlando, and it was a big day for the airport. Real big win for Airport Director Kitchens.
I was there as well, and I remember hearing from the president if they're seeing high ridership, they'll try to expand out their routes even further. So that'll be exciting to hear.
And Manchester Mayor was there as well.
Yes, he was.
Awesome. Anything else? Assistant Town Manager report.
Thank you. So I was also at the JetBlue event, so it was well attended, and it was nice to see another new airline at the airport. I also attended the rebranding committee for the airport that I sit on, and so we wrapped up the final stages of that committee, so you should be seeing some new and improved branding from the airport in the near future. Lastly, our new town planner started today. I intend on bringing her formally to the council to you all, but just so you're aware, she started today, and she should be back tomorrow. So we
Knock
welcome
on. Good to hear. Thank you, Kelly. Mr. Town Manager, your report, sir.
Well, we have a new floor that was installed at the senior center at no cost to the taxpayers. The Londonderry Senior Citizens Group Incorporated dissolved, and that money that they had paid for the new floor. Pennachuck Water, for the water going down High Range Road, the bid came in under estimate. It was $863,000 under the estimated cost, which means town will have money for later. The Pennachuck water rate case has been resolved, which should account for about a 20-25% for metered users, the regular people. The town's going to pay a little bit more with the hydrants and whatnot, but families should be getting a rate a little bit better. Vista Ridge at Exit 5, the Orthopedic Doctor Center, has received their building permit, so that will be starting. The project at 35 Gilcrest, Juniper Ridge, is getting very close to being finalized, and that should be up and going fairly quickly. We did meet with people from Concord with the New Hampshire DES, Bob Scott and 3 others. Bob Scott was the lead gentleman, just so we would all be apprised of the high range water
pipe going down and the concerns of getting water to people who need it. Fortunately, we had two of the town councilors there. It was very informative and very interesting, and the people up in Concord seem to have very much a vested interest in getting people safe water.
Good to hear. Thank you, Mr. Town Manager.
And we have, there was some concern with 91As being posted up, and we are working on it. We're getting closer to completion. And 26, there's 40 up there now.
Okay.
So,
Thank you. All right, appointments, reappointments. So at this time, I'd like to invite Ryan Ouellette up to the podium. So Ryan, how we typically do things, we like to have the candidate or applicant kind of do a little intro, talk about yourself, the position you're interested in. From my understanding, this is for the alternate planning board position with the expiration of 12 December of this year. So with that, if you could please give a brief introduction, that'd be appreciated.
My name is Ryan Ouellette. I live at 8 Tanager Way. I've lived in this town for 21 years. In that 21 years, I volunteered a lot. I ran the local youth football and cheer program for about 10 years, and then I did. I volunteered with various ran several booster groups at the high school. I have a full-time job, and I'm also an entrepreneur, so I have several other businesses, including one here in town. I've been involved in several construction projects, both personal and private, and most recently in Londonderry, and I was able to sit through the planning board meetings, and I was so interested that I kept on watching them on my TV afterwards. That's when my wife said, "Why don't you just join? They have an open seat." So maybe she wants to get rid of me. I don't know, but no. I'd like to give back. My kids are older now, so they're not as they're not involved in sports that much. At least that I can help. They're in college. So I thought, what better way to help the town than start with the planning board?
Okay. Questions from the council?
Do you have any conflicts of interest that may arise with?
I don't plan on doing any development in Londonderry. I don't have any plans to do that. But if I did, of course, I would recuse myself.
Mm-hmm.
I do know other people in town, and if one of my friends ends up doing something, I'd also recuse myself. And a friend is someone I would consider that I'd basically have my cell phone. If they're in my cell phone, then they're probably my friend.
Yeah.
Good way to put it.
So, because some people are like, well, you know him. Well, I know him. I don't know some of my neighbors' phone numbers. Just because he's my neighbor doesn't mean I know him,
Okay. I might have missed earlier. What did you say you do for work?
I'm IT and operations director at New Hampshire Orthopedic Center.
Okay.
And Ryan, you understand this is for an alternate position, so the requirements of attending the meetings and such until the end of the appointment period is required. And then, just for your awareness. Any other questions from the council?
I've talked to Ryan on and off over the year, more recently about a project that's going on in town, and happy that you're stepping up.
Thank you.
All right, with that, I'll accept a motion to appoint Ryan Ouellette to the alternate planning board position with the expiration of 12/2025.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Ted, second from Ron. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, go see the clerk to be sworn in. Normal hours is 8:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. She is here, but not prepared to swear in.
No, that's fine. I'll come tomorrow morning.
All right. If you could just give her a heads up and let her know, because she does have, I'm sure, a pretty busy schedule. So just make sure there's appropriate time. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, folks, before I adjourn, next meeting is this Saturday, deliberative session at the Londonderry High School cafeteria. It is at 9 a.m., so February 8th at the high school cafeteria at 9 a.m. I encourage everyone to come out and participate, followed by a regular scheduled council meeting on the 18th here in the Moose Hill Council chambers at 7 p.m. With that, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Ted made the motion. Who's second? Sean?
I'll take it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned.
Hey, I really wanted to stay.